What's going on, everybody? How you doing? Happy Saturday. Want to make a quick video here before the year ends here in a couple of days. More of a point-by-point thing that I made. 10 things to do in 2024 to make 2024 a good year to remember, more importantly. And I made a video here just yesterday, but it cut out because all my phone storage was full. And I had to go through my phone and just clear out a bunch of shit. Bunch of clutter in there, a bunch of stuff I don't need. And I actually tried recording this video earlier and it cut out right in the middle, so I was kind of pissed off. So I just spent a bunch of time going over all that, trying to clear out all this shit I don't need anymore, all these pictures of me flexing and all these videos that I made that I never uploaded. So anyways, without further ado, let's not waste time and let's jump right into it. But before we jump right into it, 2024 is going to be so bright, and this light's so bright, we got to put on these shades. Let's do it. All right, so I got a list right here, 10 things. 10 things you should do in 2024. Number 1 is read more books, fiction and nonfiction. I think a lot of people, myself included, underestimate the power that reading can have on us and our imagination. When you read, the way reading stimulates the mind is very healthy, in my opinion. And it's just good. It's a good way of passing the time, you know? Because what do people do these days when they pass the time? They just scroll on their phone, you know, or they just read some bullshit online. It's not productive, all right? It's not good for you. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that makes you more stupid at the end of the day. But reading makes you smarter. It does. It's been known to make you smarter. It's been known to add digits to your IQ. And I say nonfiction and fiction because both can do good things for you. Both can teach you a lot. Nonfiction is good because it allows you to see how somebody has been able to put their thoughts into word on matters such as their own or matters of the world. And fiction is like a whole other level. I think a lot of people kind of toss fiction aside because it's not true and they see that as a waste of time. But I honestly think fiction is really healthy. It teaches you and shows you how to be a good storyteller. To take something that you completely come up with out of thin air and turn it into something real, physical, in a book, is impressive. And it's not a skill that many people have. So fiction and nonfiction, just read more, man. I think you'll find yourself a lot happier and feeling better about yourself passing the time because you're just not scrolling on your phone, which is not healthy for you. All right, number 2, write more. Writing, again, this is good for the soul as well. This is good for your imagination. And what I mean by writing is, you know, it could be anything. It could be any scale of something. You could write paragraphs a day about whatever you want, or you could just have a simple little journal like this one right here that I wrote all these things down in. And you can just write a few things that are on your mind every day. Sometimes this will be more, other days this will be less. But doing this, I believe, is really good because, you know, we have a lot of thoughts going through our heads. We have things that make us happy, things that make us sad, things that frustrate us, and sometimes we don't always have a way of communicating that with somebody else. Sometimes, unfortunately, you may not want to communicate some of those things with somebody else. And sometimes you can't even really communicate it with somebody else because it's too tough to explain. But writing it down is something that you can do. And though it seems small, I believe it goes a long way. So write more. Stokes your imagination. And that goes into reading too. Read more so you can write better. Every great writer out there was an avid reader. So if you want to be a good writer, read more books. Number 3, get out in nature. Summit mountains, literally and figuratively. I don't know where you live. You may live in the middle of Manhattan or in the middle of some giant city where, you know, it takes you a long time to get out into nature. You're not close by. Wherever you live, whether that's in the countryside in a smaller town where you have easier access to nature, or you live in the middle of a big city, Get out in nature. Get out in nature. It's too easy to get caught up in this modern world, you know. Man was meant to be in nature, you know. We were made with nature. And when you go out in the nature, you're reconnecting with your roots, in my opinion. You're reconnecting with this primal instinct that is encoded in your DNA. And if you're able to do that, I mean, it's really good. It's just really good for you, man. And doing it frequently, anybody who does this, a lot happier, myself included. And I'm thankful to live in a place where I have access to such amazing forms of nature. Because not everybody does. But whatever the case, man, get out there. Climb, go on hikes, climb mountains, literally and figuratively. I feel like if you do this, it'll help you in your day-to-day life in modern society. Number 4, be more social. Stop being a coward and answer your calling, damn it. Being more social is really important. And I think the importance of it, a lot of people these days, they're just kind of scooting it under the rug. They're not addressing it like they should. I think people are too scared a lot. A lot of people have made it up in their minds that they have social anxiety and that they are introverts. But I think a lot of people aren't introverts. I think a lot of people who call themselves introverts are actually extroverts, but they have this anxiety when they're out in public and around people that they haven't really learned to become comfortable with. And so many people, we just spend so much time alone. We sit at home all day. You know, a lot of people work from home, so they're not really out there in the world having to communicate with others, having to interact with others. That you just kind of lose this spark in you, and you have all these issues, and it kind of drives you crazy. So being more social is really important, man. We're meant to be social. We're humans. We're social beings. Even if you're more introverted, you still need to socialize. All right? And some are more extroverted than others. Some can handle social situations more than others without it exhausting them. But regardless of where you are on that spectrum, all right? If that spectrum is a thing, you got to get out there. You got to have your tribe. You got to be able to have conversations with people. This is way more healthy for you than you would think. So be more social. Okay. Number 5. This is an important one. Stop watching most self-improvement content. Start living and learn the process as you go. So there's a reason why I said most, because not all of it's bad. You know, there's some good creators out there. A couple that I like are Elijah Long, he's my favorite. And there's another guy named Ali Benz-Hariz, and he's good. He's this British guy. And but other than those two, most of the self-improvement content I used to consume, I've cut it out. And there's a reason why I've cut it out. It's because number 1, they're all copycats of each other. They all say the same shit. And number 2, in my opinion, it's a clever way of procrastination. All these videos you watch, where they're all telling you these things that you know you should be doing, but you're not, is just, it's holding you back. You have to get out there and live at some point. And what good are all these habits that you're implementing into your life if you're not actually working towards something greater? You know what I mean? If you're not actually getting out there and living, being amongst this world, you know, that's where you really improve. You could do all these habits, but if you're not growing as a person, and by growing you're challenging yourself, it's just an endless circle. It's a loop. And I've talked about this before in some other videos I've made. But self-improvement without a purpose, without an end goal, is a dead end. And maybe through self-improvement is where you find your calling in life that takes you to the next level. But it seems for most, they just get stuck in the habits, you know? Journaling, meditation, NoFap, cold showers. It's like, all right, that's all good, but if there's no overarching reason for doing all these things, you're going to stop doing them at some point, you know? So that's why I say most. Cut out most self-improvement content. Hold on to a few that you like. But more importantly, most importantly, you need to get out there and you need to live. All right? Number 6, be grateful. Be grateful every day. Count your blessings. This is a reminder to everybody else watching this, and it's just as much of a reminder to myself. I often forget to do this, but we have to be grateful. We have something to be grateful for every day. You know, if you live in a first world country, if you live in, you know, a first world country, or I'll put it like that, you likely have a roof over your head, food to eat, and a car to get you around, all right? There's a lot of people in a lot of different countries who don't have any of those things. You have it pretty damn good. You have it pretty made. And more importantly, instead of focusing so much on the things that you have that are external, focus on what you have internally. It's very easy for a lot of us to self-sabotage, to be short-sighted in ourselves, to not believe in ourselves. But there's a lot within us that we have that is untapped potential that can take us a long ways. It's just that we have to notice it and be consistent in our acknowledgement of it, if that makes any sense. So be grateful. Number 7, start lifting weights. Get in the fucking gym. Join a gym, man. You know, one of the biggest mistakes I did back in this time in my life where I wasn't really sure what to do with my life, and I was kind of lonely and I didn't have a lot of friends, is I didn't join a gym. Because when I joined a gym, I met a lot of people. And when I look back at that time in my life, I realized there's one thing I should have done. Well, there's a lot of things I should have done, but there's one thing I almost did and I didn't do it, and I should have done it. And I should have joined a gym. Because not only would it have got me more into fitness earlier, but I would have met a lot of people. And so I lift weights now consistently. And maybe a lot of you watching do as well. But if you don't, this is something that you got to jump onto, particularly as a young man. This will make you feel strong, both mentally and physically. It will ground you, it will center you. You'll feel more powerful. And obviously it's about becoming physically stronger. You want to make your body into a weapon, you know? You want to be big. And when you're big, you know, you're respected more by people. But also, more importantly, it's about the mental aspect of it. A lot of people, they go to the gym not just to get strong, but they go to the gym because it helps them deal with these voices inside their head that, if not dealt with, make them sad, make them doubt themselves, hold them back. The gym is the prime place to cure that kind of thing. So join a gym. 8, learn how to become of service to others. Learn a valuable skill. I've noticed so much of self-improvement is all about self. It's all about what can I do for me. And I think this is a negative way of going about life, and this is a flawed way of looking at the world. Life isn't just about you. Obviously, yes, you should look out for yourself. You should, know what's best for yourself. But the thing that's really going to take you far is being of service to others and having a skill where you can be of service to others. Helping people is more than anything. Being likable is more than anything. And these are things that take you a lot farther than just all these habits of self-improvement. Being able to provide something for somebody and help somebody out goes a long ways. Building a quality reputation goes a long ways. So learn a valuable skill, whether that's a trade, it could be anything, man. It could be mowing somebody's lawn, for all that I care. Or it could be shoveling snow in the wintertime, cleaning out rain gutters, to learning a trade like a electrician, plumbing, carpenter. All these things are always going to be needed. These aren't going anywhere. No robots are going to replace these. They can't. No AI can replace this stuff. Humans have to do this stuff. And so if you can do that, you're really taking yourself a long ways and putting yourself in a very good position. Number 9, talk to more women. A lot of guys, they avoid this, They avoid this. And I think a lot of the fears guys have of women is that they pedestalize them so much. And they see them as these goddesses. And they see them as these goddesses because they don't and they haven't spent enough time around these people, these women. The reality is, dude, women, as there are many differences, there are also many similarities too. They are like us in more ways than not, all right? They do disgusting shit just like we do, all right? They take giant, massive shits. They've had diarrhea. They bleed once a month, all right? They fart. They're human. They're human, man. And you got to treat them that way. And you got to talk to them just like you talk to your best friend, or you talk to somebody like me, or anybody else that you're comfortable with. Just get out there, talk to more women. This is how you're going to meet women. Get off the dating apps. These are a waste of time. It's rigged. It's not in favor for you if you're a man. So get out there and just let loose a little bit, all right? It's the other half of the population in this world. You can't sequester yourself from them at all. It's not good for you. Number 10, be cleanly. I'm not a big fan of Jordan Peterson, but he has one good point, and that is clean your room. And I like this because he's saying clean your room before you take on the world's problems. It's like if your own space is a mess and you can't control what is in your own environment, there's no way in hell you're going to be able to take care and control what is out there. If you clean up your own environment, I've found that this really helps me mentally. It clears me up mentally. It's like you feel like you can move on to bigger things if your space that you come back to and you occupy is clean. So be cleanly. Clean once a week, clean once a day. Do whatever you feel like doing, but keep your car, keep your room, keep your house, keep your bathroom consistently clean. Don't let it get too dirty. And number 11, last but not least, take a sip of water here. Accept yourself and try harder. Accept that you're not perfect. You're not perfect. None of us are perfect. We all have flaws. We've all made mistakes. And going forward, we will all make more mistakes. But that's okay because through that we learn. And there's no other greater way to learn than making mistakes. So make mistakes. And be willing to fall on your face. Accept that you have problems. Everybody's got some problems. Everybody's going through some shit. And that's okay. Learn how to deal with it. Accept that going forward into this new year, just like every other time in the past, you're going to have good days. You're going to have bad days. You're going to have days where you feel on top of it. And then you're going to have days that you're feeling just weighed down by it all. Days that you feel confident, days that you don't feel so confident, days that you're happy, other days that you're depressed. You got days that you're going to feel like nervous and you got this anxiety about certain things. Listen, that's part of the human experience. That's being human. Everybody feels this way. And so there's nothing odd about you for feeling this way about certain things. And the important thing to understand is to just listen. Like you just understand that you're going to have moments like that. Days like that are going to come. Times like that are going to come. But you have to just push forward and get through it. And figure it out as you go. Figure out that you'll accept that you're going to screw up along the way, but by also screwing up, you'll also have great success in these ventures as well. And so we'll leave it off at that. And one thing here that I want to make clear is I don't make these videos to tell you what you should do because I've done all these things or I do all these things frequently. A lot of these things, to be honest with you, I fall short of. Some of them I do, Some of them I do frequently, and I know that this would help anybody who's kind of in a rut. But I also know that a lot of these things I've written down here are things that I don't do that I should be doing. And they're probably things that you should be doing too. I make these videos just as much for you as I make them for myself. Matter of fact, it's almost more for myself. But it's not about me. It's about just life in general. My observations, all this stuff. So, leave it off at that, man. Start off 2024 with a fresh mind. Understand that, things take time. Things take time. Nothing worth it comes fast. There really is no shortcuts in life. And once you realize that, I feel like you don't get too I can't think of the word, but you don't get too discouraged when it doesn't go your way. All right? Or when the process is taking too long. All right, leave it off at that. Get to work. Take care. Happy New Year.